Can they hear you?
I can hear you, sir.
I can hear you, sir.
Okay, can you hear me?
Of
I
course.
can hear you. That you're the important one, but you got the helper. That sounds
Hi,
good.
Liz. Hi, Susan.
Good morning, afternoon.
Hello.
Hello.
I think it's evening.
It is evening, isn't it? I know. I do taxes. I work for H&R Block this time of year. So I went to work at like 7:45 this morning and I just came in my door a few minutes ago, which is fine. I mean, I'm happy to do it, but it's like, I'm not used to these kinds of hours.
Those hours.
How's the, I know you're gonna give this in your report, Karen, but so I'll wait. You're gonna talk about the tax preparers there?
Yeah, we had our first day today. It went well. No major hiccups or anything. We had 2 preparers today. We have 3 going forward from now through the first week of April, every Wednesday.
All day? Are they there Wednesday all day or how often?
No, they're 9 to 12. So they do 4 appointments, 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock, or 9 to 1 they leave. So they have appointments, 9 through 12 o'clock appointments.
Yeah. Do they actually file for people? They send the returns off, do you know? That's good.
Okay,
Yeah, it's a great service.
Since we haven't seriously started, we talk about having some volunteers to help make repairs on houses and electricity, that type of stuff. I talked to a retired electrician, and his first question was, who will cover my insurance?
Mm.
I actually had not thought about that, but that made sense.
Yeah, of course.
So that might be something to think about. I'm not sure what the options are for it, but
Maureen,
that was his very first question.
that's both like if he gets hurt, if he were to get hurt, and or if a tenant or a homeowner or somebody in whose house he was working and whose apartment he went, sort of said something about him that may or may not have been true, liability.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah. And if he got hurt, who would pay for his stitches?
yeah. So, he was an electrician, but he's had his own business for years. And he said, plumbers, anyone who would go into a house would have the same problem. So it might be something to think about.
That's why I think we can't go in the business of sending people directly versus just providing, like through Angie's List or some kind of list of people could hire.
Yes.
Because it would be a big liability, I think, insurance wise, unless they were carrying their own insurance, that they would have to be volunteering. I would think they would have to be volunteering their services, as in carrying, like our exercise instructors carry their own insurance.
Well, he still is insured, but he said that he still probably would not go in to a house where he didn't know the people.
Yeah.
He does a lot of small jobs for, neighbors and friends, but he's always been insured. And he said usually when they retire and would have the time available, they're no longer insured.
Well, good information, Liz. Thank you for broaching it with him.
I'm looking for volunteer workers. I don't seem to be finding too many.
What about, it probably wouldn't come up, they certainly don't go inside, but the shovelers even, Karen, the shovelers, if they got hurt on somebody's property, it's probably not necessary to even think about it, but they're not inside, so that's one thing. But if they got hurt while they were doing somebody's stairs or walkway, I guess it's too bad we even have to think about this stuff. I hate it. I hate that we have to think about this stuff, but it's important.
And he said, he would check around and ask, and I haven't gotten back to him, and I will next week.
Yeah.
And he felt everybody would feel the same way he did.
Yeah. Hi, Christina.
Hello.
At 6:34, did anybody respond to you, Karen, that they were not coming? I know,
no.
blows away, yeah.
She's enjoying warmer weather in sunny Arizona, so yes, good. So she's not joining us.
All right, but Joanne, as far as you know, is coming.
Yes, as far as I know.
But we do have a quorum, right? So I'm gonna
We
call,
could start.
yeah, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Hello, everyone, on this nice balmy day, balmy compared to what we've been going through, right?
Yeah, I second the motion.
So they arrived late, but we did, and public comments, nobody's here, so no, we passed right through that agenda item, no public comments. The minutes came out today, if you had a chance to skim them, anybody did, I skimmed them just a few minutes ago. Are there any,
Oh, I guess I didn't get those.
they came at like 11, or they came to my email at 11, around late morning, I just saw them though, a little bit ago. It was the,
No, I still have the
Oh,
ones.
you know what? I don't have an agenda. That's what I don't have. I have minutes though.
okay, well,
Who's taking the notes if Flo's not here?
today? That's a good question,
I could take the notes if you want.
thank you.
I don't have an agenda. I was just gonna start right. I must not have printed it.
It's the usual stuff, I mean, there's nothing, the agenda came last week sometime.
I have the agenda for January 11th that was printed today.
Oh, I missed the agenda. I must have missed it.
It
Okay.
came out, Karen sent it last week, or a draft of it, and to see if there was anything else that we wanted added, and everyone that responded said, looks good. And that was the agenda. I have it in front of me. So we're on the approval of minutes right now, then the financial.
Which I don't think we can approve because we don't have the right combination of people here.
Say that again?
I think we have a quorum.
We have a quorum, but we don't have the right combination of people that were at the meeting. So we would need,
Oh, okay.
you know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
So it was Flo, Susan, Joanne, and myself.
All right.
So it's just Susan and myself.
All right,
Yeah.
so we will table that then. Do we need a motion to table it?
I don't know, but I will do that if you need to. I
Let's-
motion to table it.
Second. All in favor, aye. Christina, did you get today, do you have the January 23rd minutes? You're on mute if you know that, but that you nodded your head, right? So next month we'll vote on both January and February, hopefully. Okay, was
I've
there
had
any,
this going on my board meeting for like months now. We can't ever get the same. One person's missing every time.
well, I read them. I did skim them and I didn't see anything that was out of place or wrong or not
Well,
true.
that's good.
So, okay, so now we have the financial report, then we are officially tabling the minutes. Financial report, which came out today also, this morning. So,
Yeah, does everybody want to take a minute to review it?
I don't know if everybody has it.
I have that one.
Oh, you do?
But yes, January, maybe I don't.
January 2023, that's what we're looking at.
Yes,
That's the right
okay, I have it.
The minutes were attached to that same email, so there were 3 attachments. Well, maybe you do have the minutes, Liz. If you don't have them, I'll just forward them to you all right?
Mine says, my minutes is January 11th.
Oh, okay, those are
Is
the
that
right.
right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yes, I'm sorry. I thought you said you didn't have them. All right, so you have the financial report also and the,
Yes.
okay.
So we're on track financial report wise. There's nothing significant that's standing out. We're on track to stay within our budget for the fiscal year.
Could you just say a little bit about the Wilcox Fund? I'm not sure I'm aware of what that is. What is that? Who is that? It's a memorial fund of some
It's not anything that we directly control. That's what That's where the money came from for the furniture for the lobby.
Okay, that's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah, so it's if there's a type of request that we can make for seniors to improve the center or something, we can go to them every year or so to ask for a special request.
And what is the, well, in your director's report, if you're not gonna mention, you can mention the status of the furniture also.
There's no update on the furniture. I need to reach back out to the interior designer lady because we haven't heard back from her with the new samples or the chairs or anything like that. So if she's not able to get them, I've started to look online at some other potential sources for chairs, because I was trying to get some of the furniture through the closing biotech company that we thought we had a lead on, but everything was given away to somebody else. So that's officially unavailable now. So now we're back on track with let's look for new furniture.
Are you looking for
Which is
office
just-
furniture too, of any sort, office furniture, or more just lobby furniture?
It was primarily lobby furniture, but they had a couple of nice office, but we were going to replace all of our really old office chairs with new office chairs that they were giving away. And we were going to set a small desk station up down in the lobby downstairs so that we could potentially use a tax work-off volunteer next year to be a greeter down there, especially on the busy days like a bingo day or a cards day that somebody could
Yeah.
be sitting down there
Yeah.
at the scanner.
Good, okay.
But
Any
that's not urgent, so we're okay with that.
Any questions or comments? The numbers just came to either increase or hold steady all the way across. In terms of I'm not talking the money now, I'm talking about attendance and,
Yeah, phone calls were increased. That was an average or guesstimate on the actual phone calls, but increased because of the taxes. A lot of calls to make their tax appointments, and a lot of calls there are a lot of people who are very concerned with eating with their fuel costs. So we've been fielding a lot of calls with that, and we are doing the Good Samaritan applications right here in the center. In addition, so we still have Leo coming every other Wednesday, which has been an amazing addition to what services we can provide. She takes the applications for people, and we've been doing Good Samaritan applications that are people who are over the income limit for Leo, but still under a certain threshold. So that's worked well. And then we're helping with the town for 16 over, the town supplemental program this year for that extra $750 for oil from the town for people who are approved for Leo and Good Samaritan. Is everybody familiar with that program?
Yes.
now I am.
Yes. Thank you, Councilor McLean, for that, by the way. We're very happy for that program. And there are a lot of relieved people who are getting fuel assistance that were overjoyed to know of that program.
That's the program where the guy who runs it for the town has an office in the AmeriCal building.
Somewhat, yeah. Jason Stone from the health
Yes.
department, but it's really through the health department. So we are taking anybody who's approved for Leo or Good Samaritan is eligible to receive additional funding from the town through ARPA funds, a one-time payment towards their fuel. So that is, we're working with that as well. So we send them over to the health department. They have somebody who's manually entering the information in. And then the payments go directly to the oil company or to gas and electric if people heat their home with gas or electric.
If the oil companies, or if they run out of money for the oil companies, they could be reminded that the Salvation Army has a similar program that is covered partly by the information through Jason. He's in the office every time the food pantry is open, and they send new people to him.
Right, that's the Good Samaritan program. So we're taking applications for that here at the senior center as well.
Okay.
So we'll refer people to Jason. Jason will refer people to us, and then Beth Greenberg and I are taking applications here in the senior center.
Okay.
So it's been a great partnership with Jason to make sure we cover everybody.
That's great.
And we did put that in the last newsletter that got mailed out, the levels of here's what your Leo's number are, went in one newsletter, and then the next newsletter had the income limits for the Good Samaritan program to make sure everybody knows, hey, you may be eligible for fuel assistance you didn't know about.
And I think that was a really good move.
That was excellent, yeah. So I'm sure there's a lot of people, you said there was a high demand, and I'm sure it's gonna just continue to go up over the. Hopefully, we won't have more real cold weather, but, people need heat, so.
I think it's really working. I also work for the Salvation Army, and I have not gotten a lot of calls at all for people needing fuel. They're going directly to Jason when they're at the food
Okay.
pantry.
So people are calling, it's just that they're not coming through the Salvation Army, is what you're saying?
Right, right.
Yeah, okay,
It doesn't matter who they get the oil from.
yeah, okay. Any other questions or comments or thoughts about the treasurer's report, not treasurer's, the financial report and the program? I don't know if you have these, Mike, but we're looking at the, money that got spent, which is pretty standard for a month, and then the traffic report of traffic at the center for different programs, transportation, rides, gym, veteran services, phone calls, etc.
Okay, I have another out of the box idea for the town center. In many towns, in Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine are the only ones I really know about personally. They have times when the center is closed to cars and people can just walk around. And here we have North Ave that would help anybody get around downtown. And Salem Street, there are ways to get around town if the center were closed off to cars. Just an out of the box thought.
I'm not following, Liz. Could you say a little more about what?
Okay, say for one weekend in the month,
Yeah,
Main Street in the center would be closed to all vehicles.
oh, okay. The center of town, not the senior center. I was thinking that you meant,
Oh, sorry, I wasn't
Okay.
specific.
all right.
In town, downtown. And it seems to work well. Burlington, Vermont has now closed off their downtown center to traffic all the time.
And people come out and walk or bike or what
They can walk, they can bike. One town in Maine has a trolley that runs constantly. They go to each end of the downtown walkable section and pick up passengers and bring them into the center. That's the only vehicle that is allowed.
I would say that, the last survey for the master plan is out right now.
Yes.
Able to fill in or to respond to. So that would also, it sounds like a very intriguing, exciting possibility at some point. If you're going to do that survey, or even if you don't do the whole survey, that would be an excellent, I'm sure you can find a place to put that in, Liz, as an idea, because that would be, part of a master plan it's about all kinds of things, but certainly walkability and downtown vitalization
Mhm.
and health health and activity and meet and greet and intergenerational. It fits into so many categories if that could happen.
I think so.
So that's for anybody too. The survey is out for what it's worth, to so I know the town council is going to scrutinize the survey results very carefully, right, Mike?
I
but-
believe so. And we have tried, Julie Smith Galvin has been involved in, some of the items that Elizabeth is talking about in the
Yeah.
summer. We've had a couple of times that we've tried to promote biking and close down segments of Church Street and so forth. I've spent some time in Burlington, Vermont. When I was up there, when my son was up at UVM some years back, it was certain streets that were closed off, and it was really nice because you can walk and you can walk to a store without although there were still cross streets that you had to kind of look out for, but it was definitely a good thing. How much of that we could accomplish and how broadly we could close down the downtown would be something that would have to be discussed. But in general, I think it's a good idea. We have sampled with it, but it's something that, you know, you can't just do in a day.
No, right. right.
No, absolutely not.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna move to the next agenda item. Oh, we need a motion to accept the financial report. Maureen, was that your hand?
I was gonna make a motion. I was on mute, sorry. I make a motion to accept the January financial report.
And Christina, was that your voice? Okay,
Second, yeah.
Yeah, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? No. All right, the segue into the director's report, which kind of started a little bit already, Karen.
Yeah, so in addition to the financial report and the activities report, one thing that we're working on right now is I had Melissa School, some people may know her, she's a resident here in Wakefield, approached me about wanting to offer salon services again here in the senior center. We used to have it pre-COVID, so it would work. We're working on what the logistics would be, but ideally offering like manicures or basic haircuts right here in the center that we could pick people up in the van, bring them here, have easy access to the chair once or twice a month. It was a popular service that was in place before COVID. So we're excited to work with her to see if we can bring that back. So I'm working on the logistics and what's required to make it happen with her. But that would be, I think it's a welcome. People will be excited to have that service back. That's just sometimes an easier place to come if you want to get your hair cut, age-friendly wise, than to go into a crowded salon or to go into, you know, salons that are not as easily accessible as the center is, with just coming right in on the ground floor.
Would
So
that,
more
would
to
there be
come on.
charge for that? Would there be money collected for that?
There'd be a small charge to the senior like there was before. It wasn't a free thing before either, but it would be just a small, you know, cheaper than going to the salon charge for basic haircuts.
And who gets, does she take, I mean, how does the money get, just, you know, who gets the money?
I believe that she gets the money. She donates her time and offers the lower service. Those are some of the logistics we're working on, but in the past, that's how that was, is the stylist is the one who did collect the small amount of money that the people were paying. And that's how it's done at other centers as well. So I'm reaching out to a couple of other centers to see what they're doing and basing it on what we did here in Wakefield before, in addition to seeing what other centers offer. It's a significantly reduced rate, typically, you know, a $15 or $20 haircut versus a $60 to $75 haircut at the salon.
And that's by appointment. I wonder, just a thought, you know, depending on how low her rate is, perhaps there could be a way to get a donation, excuse me, from the consumer to the center as well. Just possibility, you know, be a way to bring in a little bit of petty cash or something. Just a thought.
Karen, I noticed on the newsletter for February, which looks awesome, by the way, that it was free hand massages. So is this the same person or is that a different person?
This is a different person. So the hand massages have been with a tax work-off volunteer who is a massage therapist. So we brought her in to do that, which has been very successful and popular. And we're going to offer her to come back again next year if she wants to. And we have the capacity within the program to offer her the position. That's actually one thing I was going to talk about in the report. It's a good segue. We used I think the tax workout program, we had 14 people that we were able to match this year. And I think it's been a great year tax workout program wise. And we used our blood pressure clinics have been completely run by tax work-off nurses. So we haven't had to tap into the health department's nurses yet. The program ends at the end of February. So then the health department will help out, but we used the 2 nurses for blood pressure clinics. We used the massage therapist for the free hand massages. We had another volunteer who called bingo for us during our stretch where we didn't have an activities coordinator. We had another tax workup person who took our seniors on the trip, so it saved us from having to send a staff member on the longer trips. So it's been a great success for us this year. And we had a couple who came in and helped with the veteran services. So we're going to look for similar types of things that we could offer using tax work-off people as we go forward into the next season starting in July. So potentially we could even supplement salon services with if there's a stylist who wants to look at tax work off credit.
Nice.
So yes, that was through the tax workup program. Everybody's loved her. She's been a great addition, and she actually wants to still continue to volunteer once a month or so, even after the tax workup is done.
Very nice. Beginning of a more formalized volunteer program. They're not quite volunteers, but you know, that's you've got some creative ideas as to how people have been able to volunteer. Good for you. You know, that's.
Yeah, thank you. So I think we're going to try and advertise too, do some more when we put out the applications in April. We'll collect 8 applications again, April through June, like in prior years. But we'll even put calls out. Oh, are there any retired EMTs, retired dental technicians? Those are people who could do blood pressure clinics for us. So we could ideally cover blood pressure clinics from July through the end of February with volunteers.
Very nice. Very good. So sorry to come back to liability, but just when you said the blood pressure, let's just say a volunteer who's doing a blood pressure reading, even if they're medically, does the town cover liability for volunteers that are touching and giving medical related information to people?
Yeah,
Consumers?
they're through the health department. So I technically gave them to the health department to give back to me for blood pressure clinics. They're licensed nurses who carry their own insurance.
Oh, they are. Okay, they are. I thought they were just, you know, like people that, I mean, there's a lot of people that know how to read blood pressure. So okay.
And they're not giving medical advice on the blood pressures. They're taking the blood pressures and they're giving it to the,
right.
They're not, I mean, they're nurses. So if there's a concern, they would certainly tell the person to reach out to their doctor, but they're not, they're not acting in that capacity. But there are licensed nurses who are insured, as well as the massage therapist. She is insured and licensed.
Wonderful. Okay. Any questions? Oh, are you done? I'm sorry.
Yeah, those are our big new things. I'm working on annual reports right now for Executive Office on Elder Affairs and for the town. So that's what my main focus is right now. Our writers group is continuing monthly with different areas of focus. So that's been very popular. So we're trying always to find new programs. We're going to start field trips back up again in the spring. Our first one's probably going to be to Encore in March because we've had a lot of requests for that. And we're going to do another joint field trip with Stoneham on the big bus through a tour company. So we're going to keep working on those types of things and looking to expand our ride options in the summer. We've had an increased demand for rides. We have had to turn people down because we just don't have the capacity. So increasing our driver hours so that we can have a more robust ride system.
And that was approved, right? The increase in those monies for a driver, you said, I believe, that you had gotten more money from the town, or an increase in hours, which would allow hiring another driver or giving more hours to the current drivers.
Yeah, it was meant favorably, but the budget hasn't been voted on or anything yet, but favorably received by the council, which we appreciate.
Okay.
But that's for us, I think.
Busy place. I know Maureen has the other Maureen, your staff, Maureen. I know she was trying to get a book club going on too. I don't know where that is, a book group.
We are not having a great success with getting people interested in the book club. Maybe we can make it something exciting like summer beach reads or something coming up in the warmer months, but we've not had a lot of interest in the couple of board games we tried or the book club.
I would think that would be much better for timing. I used to belong to a book club at the library, but they always met at night. And that, for me, that was inconvenient. But I'm retired and I could go during the day easily.
She was going to do like Wednesday morning. That's what she was I guess that was based on space at the time, but it wasn't a nighttime thing. It was a daytime.
I like that idea.
Yeah. Well, if you might be interested, you could maybe let Maureen know. Maureen is the center, or let Karen I'm interested too. So
Oh, and one last thing, I'm sorry, I hate to go back, but I put a save the date in my email to everyone. We are doing a St. Patrick's Day party on March 15th at noon. I am trying to get Brightview to donate the meal so that we
Nice.
can sell, a cheap ticket that we could just pay for the entertainment. We do have entertainment, 30 minutes of Irish music, and our Palms class is going to perform again. So you all are welcome to attend, and keep your fingers crossed that Brightview comes through for me for the meal. I'm waiting to hear back from them.
Okay, I can volunteer to help
Great,
Thank
on
you.
that day.
thank you.
Okay, motion to, or any more questions? Any questions for Karen or comments? Okay, motion to receive, I guess.
Motion to accept Karen's director's report.
Thank you. Second, anybody?
I'll second it.
Liz, thank you. All in favor? Okay.
Hi.
All right, I'll accept it. The next item is the age-friendly update, which Christina, your work, we looked at your work last month, so you weren't here, but we've got the spreadsheet. We looked at the Excel spreadsheet, which sent out again today. So there's just so much there. One thing I will say is that one of the things I was gonna do was see how the master plan group was incorporating the not incorporating, but paying attention to the age-friendly plan. And I was very heartened. I went to an online focus group last week for the master plan. And one of the consultants who was doing, was working with the team, the master planning team, he was very, I can't think of his name right off the top of my head, but he was very thorough in telling the group about all of the reading and assembling he'd been doing of the various, I apologize for my of the various plans that are around Wakefield, the open space, I mean, just all kinds of things. He had read them, including the age-friendly plan, and was keeping track of different elements as they work towards the final master plan, which is a process, I guess. And Mike, you might want to say, might have more to say about that. But it was good to hear that. It was really good to hear that somebody's paying attention to all the documents, all the work, all the conversations, not that I didn't think anybody was, but it's being built into the scaffolding of creating the master plan. So that was good.
Just to touch on what Elizabeth was talking about before too, we have at one of our recent meetings had the town engineer in to explain how there will be improvements in the next couple of years on North Ave. I personally would love to see that, the sidewalks broadened. I'd like to see a bike lane, and a lot of that is being discussed right now. You may have noticed they put out some new pedestrian crosswalk items. This is just my own personal opinion. I would love to see an actual on North Ave, an actual pedestrian activated light. I don't think that is in the mix right now, but there are a lot of meetings going on about trying to calm the traffic a bit and trying to keep people safer. I mean, we've had a couple accidents out there, out in that neck of the woods. And, my personal, not town councilor, but just Mike opinion is I'd love to see an actual activated light. I know we all love that straight shot to the highway, but people have to, you go into Melrose. I don't say that we should go 25 miles an hour like Melrose has, but boy, they have their 25-mile-an-hour zone. They have their, their lit up monitors showing you that you're at 30 or 31. We don't have anything like that on North Ave. I mean, people scream down that road, and I would like to see some of these improvements. And anybody that has any input, you can go to one of the traffic advisory meetings or just make your opinion known. But I'm hoping that we do get some improvements in terms of making it more pedestrian friendly.
I agree. Good. Okay, maybe the next item, I'm not moving to the next item, but the next item is future community needs assessment discussion. I think that this committee, this board, whatever we are, we were gonna talk about, on the age friendly, where there are a couple of areas that we want to kind of give priority to in our thinking, because there's so much there, it's so rich with ideas and thoughts and segments. Does anyone have anything really that they're particularly interested in? I'm not talking about doing work, I'm just, subject areas in addition to what we've already talked about. Or Christina, as you did that work, was there anything that stood out to you as something that?
I think that, it is a really phenomenal plan and it's so well thought through. As we were going through it, we really just tried to focus on what can the Council on Aging specifically influence? Because, as we've talked about, it's age friendly. Of course, we're talking more seniors with this group, but it is about all ages. And so with the focus, it was great certainly to see all the stuff that, Karen and team are contributing today, and things that, or she has plans to do. I know it has a lot in here, but Karen can do it all off the top of her head, but things that are really mindful to that. But I agree, if we could take something that we think we can influence some of these things, our other committees, to your point, other people might be working on them. I'm not quite sure how that all comes together.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know, Karen, was there one or two things like that? I mean, you're working on a lot of them.
Yeah, I feel like bits and pieces on a lot of them. And then housing, I'm sure Maureen can attest to this, right? I think it's a big challenge out there, right? Because you have people who are in their homes who are having a hard time living on a fixed income, having a hard time staying in their homes. But there's not as many options as I wish that there were for them to go to. It's a horrible time to downsize because everything's expensive. So there's just, we don't have this great area of 55 plus communities that somebody can downsize and go to a more affordable 55 plus. So I see that being, I don't know what the right solution is. But I think we field a lot of outreach questions for that, helping people helps people get onto the housing wait list, but there's a long wait list, right? So you have to plan 5 years from now. I might like to move into public housing, so I need to fill out the application now. So I don't know if that's one that we can successfully tackle. It's one that I lose sleep over because I don't see it. I don't know. It stresses me out because we've got a lot of people who are going to need some services that I don't know what we have. So that's one I lose sleep over. But social participation, we're trying to make sure we're always offering different services to bring people in. And we always worry about, and I don't know how to capture them, the homebound people that we don't see here in the center and aren't reaching out for services. To figure out maybe a way that we can identify them and see if there's something that we're missing for that group of people. And I do think I had mentioned I want to do a senior resource fair in the fall. And that may be a good way that we as a council could man a booth that we could have people come over and talk to us about concerns that you have. What can we do? And that can be a personal dialogue that they feel they've come and looked at, the assessors are there, the town clerks are there, the RIDE is there, and all those types of services, but then that they could come and talk to us as a body to share their concerns face to face.
I wonder if it would be worth going to the farmer's market a few times as well. I mean, I'd be willing, I'd be happy to not invite all those other resources, but the Council on Aging has a table at least some of the farmers markets, or maybe not every week, but because that might, I don't know, people have mothers and they have aunts and they have uncles and they have fathers that live alone, and it's not just, sometimes it's, who would come to a senior resource fair, which is a great idea, are seniors for the most part, I think. But if we're in a place where people of all ages and stages are coming, even if they're there to buy cucumbers or honey or whatever they're there to buy, we could be there to talk to them a little bit, about, we could give out M&Ms in the midst of all the healthy food or something.
I'd like that. Um, could one of the vans make that a trip on a Saturday?
To go to the farmer's market, huh? Interesting.
Yes. They could pick could they pick the people up,
Yeah,
bring them to the farmer's market, and then bring them home?
Oh, our van. Okay, so I wasn't
Your
following
van.
at first. I'm sorry. If there was a need for people to want to go, it's just hard because it's an ongoing, we don't offer it every Saturday. For a senior resource fair, we would absolutely pick them up. For the farmer's market, it's a bit trickier because
yeah,
we
yeah.
try and my drivers to drive, but it's not an ongoing Saturday service to the farmer's market.
Could they sign up for a once a month trip?
I don't know, that would be a whole different topic because it's increasing the driving hours to Saturday, and with driving hours also comes dispatch. So that would be bringing a person in to be dispatching the driver. So it'd be an increase of hours for staff.
I think it's a good
it'd be-
question to think about phrasing though for the community survey, right? Like if there was a ride available, not that we can do anything about it right away. But if there were rides available, would you attend more events in town, and then name a few that are, pretty regular, like the farmer's market, the fair at the lake, whatever, the parade. Not that, anyway, just to get some feedback about it.
I think that's a good idea. At least I like it.
I bet it's hard for seniors or anybody with any kind of mobility issue to get to the farmer's market,
Yeah.
parking. You can't get a parking place close, and it's a nice opportunity.
Yeah.
When I worked in Wilmington, Karen, I don't know if it was the food pantry, but someone used to give my tenants like farmer's market coupons.
We have those.
Oh,
they
okay,
come
yeah.
from Valley. We typically get them later than we should. We don't get them until mid to late summer. I have to say, it's an income driven thing. I had a hard time giving them away this year. We advertised, we told people, we had signs up at the center, and people either were over the income and they didn't want to ask, or they don't go to the farmer's market. But I was used car salesman pushing them, because if we didn't use them all, we knew we'd get less next year. So I was really doing the hard sell on the farmer's market coupons. And I know people, one of the bigger concerns people had was, oh, that's more, the cost of going to the farmer's market to buy the produce versus the market basket prices. And it's free money, but that was one of the bigger concerns we have. But we do get those. Hopefully we'll get them sooner this year. Maybe we'll have an easier time finding people who would like to use them. Because they're a great deal. You get $25 of farmer's market coupons and $5 increments that they get just completely free that they can use at the farmer's market.
Could they be given out to the staff or the management at the food pantry?
No.
No.
There's a vetting process or some kind of vetting process that you have to do, Karen, with people, yeah.
Yeah, there is a financial requirement they have to sign saying that they make under this income limit. And it's for individual families, not for a food pantry.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's, we just got to percolate ideas, and I think that, things, there may not be the right idea, but there may be an offshoot of that idea that would lead to something else, that would be, and if we had a booth at the, even a couple times a month at the food pantry, at the farmer's market, there might be some more conversations about, even though the people there may not qualify, they may tell their mother about the coupons for the farmer's market.
Yes.
Bring their mother the next time, or their neighbor, or their aunt, or their, uncle.
Yeah, and then we could see too, are there people interested who are not going because they can't get there, or because
Yeah,
once you get there,
exactly.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I think that'd be a nice way to support local and get some people there that couldn't get there otherwise.
Yeah.
How about a little clip in the newsletter that says something like, bring your mother, your uncle, your grandmother to the food pantry, no, to the farmer's market.
Mhm.
And the booth would be there and
Learn
available.
about, yeah, learn about this, that, and the other thing. You know, I think I don't know quite where to put it. It's not in the, and the town is burdened. There's a lot of burden on people that work for the town already. But the communication of stuff that is going on, that could be going on, that people can access. I mean, even what, you were talking about the tax write-off, and I was thinking about, I'm doing taxes, as you know. I was thinking, the circuit breaker that exists in Massachusetts, and the oil or the fuel over and above the Samaritans that you talked about earlier that the town is doing. There's a lot of jabbering in the Wakefield community groups about how, the school, the building, funding the school, and what about the seniors in our town, and blah, 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 and nothing gets done for the seniors, and how can they afford to live here? And what you were saying before about people trying to stay in their homes, housing is one big issue. It is a big issue, and
A
affordability.
huge issue, bigger
But
than.
But there are things going on that maybe people don't know about, that, if I don't know what the answer is. I don't even know what the right problem to solve is, but I think, and even the great newsletter, it only goes to people that get it. If, it doesn't go to people that don't get it, that might want to know about things. Right? I mean, you talked about the homebound seniors or other people.
Why wouldn't it go to homebound seniors?
Well, I don't know.
They
I don't
should
know.
get-
How do
We
people
mail-
get the newsletter? How do people get it mailed to them?
6 months a year, we mail it, so it goes to over 4,000 people. So anybody who it's 60 and over on the census. So anybody who fills out the census essentially and identifies as 60 and over gets
Okay.
the newsletter.
Yeah, okay, I didn't
So
know.
we try and put the big ones in there, like the circuit breaker tax credit went into one of the newsletters that gets mailed out. So if there are big things like that, we try and make sure it goes into the mail out ones, like the Leo, Good Samaritan, to make sure we're getting it out to as many people as possible. So they know this exactly, so that we're always sharing. And when people call us with concerns, we make sure we're sharing those things as well. Like, here are the different here are the different tax breaks that you may be eligible for. We ask if people want SNAP. So anytime somebody calls with a financial concern, Beth or I talk to them about all the different programs that are out there to get them some extra help. But yeah, I don't know a good way that we could, if people are not on social media and are not checking the town's webpage to get that information, the newspaper. I believe they put sometimes in the newspaper. I'm not a Wakefield resident, so I don't get the local paper, but I have to start watching it to see if we put the tax break, the tax credit in there and things like that.
And the other,
So,
for me, another part of that is, and this as a, I've been an elder advocate, as we all are, for a long time. And one of the things that is out there in the world at large is this vision, I believe anyway, of elder as frail, impaired, blah, blah, blah. And even as many wonderful things that should be there that help people with low income and people that are in need and people that don't have enough money to pay their fuel bill. There's a lot of other people in our town, I believe, over 60, who don't have those financial concerns. They might be struggling, but they're not really struggling in the same way that people that need to get fuel, you know what I'm saying? That the senior center, accessibility and a vibrant, age-friendly town for all, not just people that are quote unquote in need. We're all in need of something. So that, the whole of the plus 60 population in Wakefield is not, and one of the things that is coming up on the master plan, and it came up on the vision, had to do with all of the buildings, or a number of buildings in town, including the senior center, that have such limited availability for activity. Those are open 8 to 4, and that's it. And there's a school, same thing. There's all this space. Some of the schools get used more, but there's all this space where things could be happening. And this is not a criticism, it sounds like a criticism, but I'm talking about a vibrant, vibrant activity. Like, Liz, you can't go to book or don't want to go to book clubs at night, but somebody else who's working, might want to go.
Want to, yes.
Might want to go to have their taxes done, maybe not their taxes, but might want to go to the gym, the little gym at the senior center at night or in the early evening. They might want to go to a program, some of the movies or some of the, I don't know, I'm making that up, but and as you all know by now that I ramble a little bit, but I want to be thinking about the wholeness of our all ages, age-friendly plan. And that includes a lot of healthy, vibrant, engaged, active seniors. And maybe there's
So
a.
on that
I'm
sorry.
sorry, Karen, go ahead. I'll be quiet.
Oh, no, on that note, we are going to do in May an evening countdown to Medicare Blue Cross Blue Shield offering that will be from 6 to 7 p.m. And it's for people who are approaching 65 and what they need to know for Medicare.
Okay.
We're going to do an art show in May that we're going to showcase the art of our art class, wood carvers, and our mindful crafting. And that will be an evening offering.
Nice.
So we are going to start adding some evening offerings in to try and do some intergenerational or be more accessible to people who are still working.
Excellent. Excellent. Good to hear.
Guess who has to sign up for Medicare? If could I hit a couple of things quickly? I just wanted to say, Karen, I might be having a senior moment, but I think we actually did approve your budget. I think we've already gone through your budget. Obviously, everything has to go to town meeting, which will probably be sometime in May. But check with Steve. But my memory is that your budget's already gone through, including the extra hours for the
Yeah.
driver. Also, there is a moderate income unit up on Parker, close to Chestnut, in that big house right now for $213,000, which in Wakefield is cheap. If you meet the income guidelines, just wanted to put that information out there because I just heard about it. We do have some moderate income units that then get resold. It has the income limitations, whatever they are, 78,000 for a single person and so forth. It's only 500 something square feet, but if anybody's looking that you're familiar with, that we could get you the link. Steve Mayo sent it to us. Relative
On the
to
website too. It's on the town's website,
Okay.
Mike.
Yeah, cool. Relative to housing, we all know huge issue all the way around. I did want to let you all know that Bob Vincent and I have been spearheading an effort to create a housing trust in Wakefield, adopt the Commonwealth's bylaw and create a housing trust. We actually do have $760,000, which is not a ton of money, but we do have that earmarked since 2015 for uses that could benefit people. And again, I won't get into the whole thing because we don't have time, but it's going to be a process where we'll probably go to town meeting at some point if we can get the votes on the town council to bring that forward. We'd have to have, if we do it by virtue of bylaw, there'd be 90 days for the Attorney General to approve. A trust would ultimately be set up. It might contain members such as people like yourselves. It would probably be a 7-person trust, and we would probably want certain people like Council of Aging, Housing, possibly Disabilities, Planning Board, etc., to represent, and maybe some open seats to be on that board. We don't have another funding mechanism beyond the 760 at present. A lot of communities, over 100, have this. A lot that do it are also CPA communities, which Wakefield is not. So we wouldn't have that source of funding, but there are other potential sources of
What kind of
funding.
communities, Mike?
well.
CFA?
The Community Preservation Act
Preservation, okay.
has not been adopted in Wakefield when it has come up in the past. But there are other sources of funding. Stoneham set one up and suddenly was surprised to have somebody say they wanted to make a bequest to such a fund. So, without getting into all the nitty gritty and the details, just to let you all know that is something that Bob and I will be presenting to the town council. We've presented it once, we're going to present it again, and we're going to move forward with it, we hope. And we're talking to all the other counselors about it. And, it could be something that, the money would be used for rental assistance. It could be something where there are so many potential uses. It could be project-based. I personally would love to see, unused town properties considered to be used for either moderate or senior housing. So we're working on it. I think it's one step at a time, Karen. I think everybody, hopefully, we've got that 760, and I'd like to do some good with it as opposed to having money sitting around for 8 years doing nothing. So, Councilor Vincent and I are spearheading that activity, and I think Steve thinks it's a good idea, and I think we can get other councilors on board ultimately and come up with a plan. But will it solve all ills? Obviously not. But is it a step in the right direction? We think it is.
That's probably the way to solve all is a step in the right direction, and then another step, and then another step, and another step. So it's good to hear that. Very good to hear that.
That is how I look at it. Yeah.
All right, could we talk a little bit about this community survey and kind of what stage is that at, and what kind of resources we need, Karen, or you need, to make that happen?
I need input from the group, I guess, on what we want to put on our community survey, like what information are we looking for? That's something I think over the summer I could probably use a tax workout person to collect the data and sort the data. So I think that would be a good time to launch it if we want to, but we would need as a group, I would think, to come up with what data do we want to collect? I don't want to collect data just to collect data. So what information are we looking for from people?
We're already collecting a lot of data.
That's the thing, right? I don't want to necessarily recreate everything because with all the master planning, and there have been so many surveys already that
Yeah.
I don't know if we need our own plan. If we get out in the community and just talk to people face to face at different events, then maybe we don't need another survey. I love the idea of the farmers market. I love the idea of the senior resource fair, capturing people who might not be at the farmers market. But I'm open to anything. If the board wants to do a formal survey of some sort, then we could certainly do that if we want to come up with what information we're looking for.
I like the idea of getting out a bit, but it would have to be I'm going to shut my camera off. It's so annoying. Having not a script exactly, but a standardized question facilitation of a group, whether it's a garden club or the people drinking coffee at Dunkin' Donuts, or I don't know, or the pickleball court or something where I'd be willing after tax season anyway. I'd be more than willing to, and I've run focus groups in the past, so I'd be willing to go out and do a little focus group, but we'd have to agree on what, like you're saying, what we want to find out and how we want to find it out. Talking to.
Well, what do you, yeah, I feel like the age-friendly action plan, this all resulted as, this was a survey.
Right.
That's how, this was created, and we didn't, I don't think we got a real ton of responses either.
We didn't, yeah.
So, but I think maybe if we do the fair, like you said, maybe we could have something at the fair, we can get people in person, that stop. I don't know, I feel like maybe we see this age-friendly plan through for a year, see what, we can track that we're doing. And then see if anybody notices.
Would it help if somebody sat in the lobby at the library and sort of herded people in?
That, yeah. Certainly the library is a good place for traffic of people.
That was my thought.
Yeah. Do you, maybe they'd even, just host again, it's that standardized approach. So we're collecting whatever we're doing is coming in somewhat consistently, but like you have to ask the same candidates, all the job candidates, the same question. But the have a couple times at the library, at the senior center, where we just invite people to a gathering. And
even do it individually. The last time we did a survey, we left the survey at the library, but there was nobody encouraging patrons to
fill it out.
fill it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there a way to use technology? I mean, today you can chat and on so many different venues. If you have you don't have to call Xfinity anymore. You can chat with someone. So, I was just looking at the website, as you were talking about reaching, a lot of people use Constant Contact or Monkey Chimp or one of these things to like push information out if you have a database. But the website is not, like you said, it's not, you have to know where you want to go to get some information on the website. But I didn't know if there was a way to optimize that to be, hey, do you have an idea for us? We'd love to hear from you. So that there's always a way to have like open feedback that isn't as much as, asking, but is anonymous if you want, and a way to just, hey, did you know? Like I use that a lot, like, hey, did you know? And people will be like, no, I didn't know that. That's great. And we'd love to hear from you. Because it's all great to go to the library. I think to your point though, it's catch as catch can, right? If somebody's in the moment and wants to give you feedback or they haven't thought about it, I agree. The farmer's market is a great audience, if you will, to like get lots of different kinds of people in the town, which is really nice, or other towns.
Yeah, I like that. I could talk to Jen to see if we could put something on our website that they could do the ticket out to say, hey, do you have any ideas for us? Because we're always reaching out to people to say, do you have any ideas for programming? What else would you like us to do? If you don't want to play cards, what do you want to do? So I could talk to Jen McDonald to see if we can add something like that out. That
Is there a
people who
suggestion
access-
box? Oh, I'm sorry. Is there a suggestion box at the center now?
No, I'm happy to add one. I think we could put one out there for, hey, we'd love to hear your ideas. And I do want
I
to.
like that idea.
I do want to, if the board is okay with it and think people could come, I do want to do a town hall that we could invite people to come and tell us those thoughts. Melrose just did one. So I'm actually having lunch with their director on Friday. So I wanted to ask her, it's on my list. I have a whole list of stuff I want to ask her, because she's been in the business for a long time. And I want to ask her how their town hall went and if they thought it was well attended and if they got some good information, because it may be a good thing for us to do, to hear these things in a
Didn't
live
Stoneham
forum.
just do one too, or Stoneham? Or maybe it was Melrose. I read about one of them doing something local. Yeah, that'd be great. That sounds great.
I have it on my list to ask their director. So I'll have more information about how it went for everybody next month.
And
But we could have it.
And could you ask about age groups? I'm over 80.
Right.
And I'm wondering, with the 80 and 90-year-olds, a lot of them are homebound and not computer savvy.
Right.
How could we get to them? Those are the ones I would really like to hear from.
Yeah. I bet. I mean, they can't release that information, but I'm thinking about Mystic Valley. They probably know about a lot of homebound people that live or limited people, limited mobility people that may have services from Mystic Valley, but they can't release that information to us, of course. But I wonder, yeah.
Yeah, but I think Mystic Valley does a really nice job of trying to promote the senior center and what's available in the community. I really do. So I think if they do know about those people, they'd have to know about them, but I do think that they, try to work with them and try to offer them as much as they can, as far as socialization and including them. It's hard. Some people just are, they're not interested, no matter how hard you try.
Well, some people aren't interested because they've had ideas and nothing comes of them.
Well, yeah, so it's we can't, right, that's always a risk when you ask people for ideas, because we can't, no organization or no program could ever implement all the ideas that people might have.
No.
But suggestions, yeah.
Mystic Valley does a nice job of like promoting themselves. They have an article in the newspaper every week. Not that I want to put that on you, Karen, but like, I don't know if that's something to do. Put something in the item, be more, present in the item. Mystic Valley there's definitely a weekly article in there with photos, so, they have the ear of somebody at the item and they promote all these things. Like right now, they'd probably put an article in there about tax season and I mean, it is just, but it's a way to get a lot of people. I'm sure there are a lot of seniors that do get the paper and read the paper.
Yeah, I just was working on a press release for the Delina Theater Company's coming back, but that is on my bucket list. I'm gonna have Maureen Howlett start working on articles. She's a author, so that should be right up our alley of starting.
There you go.
Some of
She'll be good at it.
Yeah.
I asked her about that in the job interview even, so that is on the bucket list to start getting there
Yeah.
now that she's got. Doing
But
some
that's a
articles
good
for the-
way to promote a lot of these things, on the
Yeah.
age-friendly plan and to get that information out that we're looking to get
Yes.
out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 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 How's the snow angel? We haven't had much snow, but how's the sign up, so to speak, of the volunteers for the snow angel program?
That's going well. We have over 30 people who are on the list and they've been able to match, for the most part, everybody. So a lot of people happy to see the program, a lot of activity with it, and it's been a great relationship working with Catherine and the Youth Council and the Youth Action Team to get the matches done. So good. They go out if there's over 3 inches of snow.
Yeah.
And the tricky part with the one storm that we had that was over is that because of the hours it came, there wasn't a delay in school. So it stopped late at night. And then, so the kids couldn't get out until after school was out. So that was the only tricky part, is the delay. If there's not a school delay, then the people have to wait until the kids are out of school.
Yeah.
So we explain that when they sign up. So there's the understanding of that, but I think it's a great program.
Good. Okay, well, there's sort of a lot, you've been writing down things, there's some things on your shoulders, more things on your shoulders, Karen, that you need, that you've written down, I know, but I think, we seem to have some sense of two things I'm hearing. One is focus on the plan, keep our focus somewhat on the plan and doing what can be done, and adding some new things, thinking ahead for the summer, some easy, not exactly low hanging fruit, but some, things to do between what you're already planning and maybe if we could beef up the idea about the farmer's market. Purchase, and I my hands up for that. And a little bit more on communications, if Maureen could, step in and do some of that, that's terrific. It's a good base. And Christina, your work that you did with Karen already to make this a little more digestible.
Happy to help.
Go ahead.
Just want to say happy to help.
Okay, so what should we do about the community survey idea? Should we, well, you got a couple things. One is talking to the Jennifer and talking to maybe a suggestion box of some sort, or an idea box. Don't call it just an idea box. Maybe that would create less of an expectation that something's gonna happen, to Liz's point,
I like that name change from suggestion box. I think that's an excellent idea.
Just an idea box.
Yes.
And so that, and then are we allowed to ever meet in person? What's the status of that situation? I mean, I like this kind of meeting myself because it's just, it's shorter. I mean, no commuting and no.
Right. This is ideal for me.
Yeah, no change right now. So we'll
Okay.
continue with here otherwise. It would never go to completely in person. I believe it would always be with a hybrid option. So as soon as I know anything on that change, I will absolutely share.
Okay, I am going to get up and walk around because my back is giving out. I'm not leaving the meeting. I'll still be here.
I think we're close to adjournment unless somebody has something.
Oh,
that they
okay.
think we should do before. I mean, I don't mean to control the group, but I'm wondering where to go from here.
Now, and on the note of
Make a
communication,
motion.
Oh, sorry. One quick thing so everybody knows, because our non-mailing newsletters, it's harder to get them out. We are working with local businesses to see, can we put them at Brothers? Can we put them at McDonald's? Can we put them at Cumbies? So we're looking to try and get them out more than just town hall, the library.
That's
And
excellent, excellent, okay, yeah, excellent.
That's a really good idea. We get them, right? They get dropped off up at the housing authority. So yeah, that's a good idea, Karen. All right. If you don't have anything else, Karen, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I want to see your shirt before I vote.
No.
But I will second the motion.
I
wanna see
got
the
up and
rest of
saw it and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I went up and changed.
Oh, you did?
No, I did before the meeting. I forgot and I just went and put my sweats on. And then I was like, oh, what is my
I
shirt?
thought
say?
that was the first suggestion for the suggestion box.
Day drinking. It's a COVID shirt.
The COVID shirt. All right, I'm sorry. We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you, everybody.
See everybody next month.
Happy Valentine's Day.
See ya.
Lots of love.
everyone.
Stay.
Town love.
Christina, I see
Hey,
your dog on there too. Your dog thinks he's talking, my dog thinks I'm talking to him all the time.
I know. Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Aye.
Thank you.